Hey guys, how are you guys doing? There's something weird going on with that intro today. That was really weird. Anyways, apologies for that. I don't know what the hell went on. It was like spinning in the StreamYard studio, and I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Nothing I can do about it, right? But we're all here. That's the whole thing. Who cares about the intro? Thank you for joining me on this Saturday night live. This is a really special Saturday night live because we are going to be premiering what is known as the sizzle reel. And when I get to that portion, I'm going to qualify it a little bit, but I wanted to premiere it here. And that's going to be exciting because this is part of the Truth Train movement. It's usually Mitch and I are known for these longer videos, these longer deep dives into stuff. And so this is something new for us. And anyways, we're excited for you guys to see it tonight on this Saturday Night Live. But before we get to everything, we have to thank all of you guys because you guys are the truth train. You guys are the movement. So I really want to take some time to thank a lot of you guys. First off, I want to thank Moderate Climber, who has become a new member to our channel. Thank you so much, Moderate Climber. Welcome to the Becca Scoops family. Welcome to the Truth Train and the Truth Movement. And we've got Claire, who has gifted 5 Becca Scoops memberships. If you were one of the people that got one of those memberships, make sure you thank her. She is one of our most loyal supporters on this channel. She's always gifting memberships. She's overseas. She's like, I don't know what time it is over there, but she wakes up to watch it. And we just really want to thank her. Next, we have another loyal supporter, Forrest Friend, who has also gifted 5 Becca Scoops memberships. Thank you so much, Forrest Friend. Thank you. Next, we have Army Wife 1503, who also just became a new member. Welcome. Welcome to the Truth Train. Welcome. Next, we have Shelly Little, also just became a new member. Welcome, Shelly. The chat is awesome. You're going to have a great time. And thank you for becoming part of this movement. Who else do we have? Well, we have Just Ashley 84. Welcome, Just Ashley, another new member to the channel, another new member to the movement. And next we have Estiana 76. Know that name well. And she says, all aboard the Truth Train. Choo choo. Love you, Becca. Love you right back, Estiana. Thank you so much. Next, we've got Rachel Holt, 5549, who also became a member. Welcome. Welcome, Rachel. We also, okay, we just did her. Sorry. Now we have Slayer Wolf 369, who also became a new member to the channel. Everyone, welcome all of these new members. We've got a lot. We have a great chat. So if you're a new member here, you guys are going to have fun in the chat. I promise you. Next, we got Christy Solang, who's been a member for 4 months. Thank you. That's awesome. And she says, thank you, Becca and Mitch, sending love and support from Japan. Oh, wow. Well, Mitch is Japanese. His mom was born in Japan. So, yeah, thank you so much. Next, we have Nurse Sherry. And Nurse Sherry became a new member. Welcome, Nurse Sherry. Welcome to the Truth Train. Next. We just did her. Okay, next. We've got Shelly Little became a new member. I think maybe I gotta I think I already did them. Sam has become Sam J23, member for 1 month. Hey, from the UK. Hey, back at you. Another one overseas, staying up late watching this. Oh, we got Rose. Rose, thank you so much. Rose has a YouTube channel and we love her. Thank you so much for the super chat at $6.99. Susie 7370, member for 7 months. Thank you. Next, Arlene IR Zeri 8460, $2. Thank you so much. Thank you. Harley Quinn PDX. We all know Harley Quinn. $5. Thank you, Becca and Mitch, for everything. Let's go, Truth Train. Love you all. Thank you. Next, Barry in Bed, another well-known person to this channel. She or he writes, I live 3 hours from Springfield, Missouri. In the 2000s, a rumor went around that she could walk. Oh, wow. That's really interesting. If I heard it 3 hours away, I'm sure people around her knew too. Thank you for that. That's very interesting. Sherry, Nurse Sherry has given us $1.99, riding the truth train. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, and we've got Donna Loringer 3581 also just became a new member to the channel. Welcome. Welcome to the Truth Train. And last but not least, Aaron. Not sure what the whole name is, but I see Aaron 7422 became a new member. Welcome aboard, Aaron. Have fun in the chat. All right, guys. Periodically, as you know, I will be jumping back to the comment section. So if you got questions or anything or comments, we will be getting to those. But we're going to go ahead and start the show now since we thanked everyone we needed to thank. I'm going to go ahead and put live comments. Going to show them. There we go. So everyone that's on the replay can see what you guys were talking about, because the chat is probably the most important thing when you do a live, right? I'm just the humble servant here. The chat is the show almost. So keep the chat going. All right. A little housekeeping here. Oh, wait, I got to go back for a minute there because I still got that person's comment on the, hold on. Is it? No, Aaron. We got more comments now. That's weird. Okay, there we go. All right. So now I know where I left off. Okay, so Amy, I'll get to you. I know Amy is where I'm going to start after for our next break when we do the comments. All right. All right, guys. Let me go ahead and start. I always start off with something not like deep and heavy. We'll get into that, obviously, and obviously we're going to watch the sizzle reel that we produced. But first off, let's get to. I have a big thank you to make. Remember my last video? I put this up. Up on, and I found out that the person who did this is a person named Holiday. And so I want to thank Holiday so much for this graphic. She emailed me and she let me know she was the person responsible for this, because I had asked who's responsible for this. I'd like to thank them because it was really well done. And her name is Holiday. And so Holiday, big shout out to you. Thank you, girl, for doing that. We all really appreciate that. Okay. So what I'm going to get to now is something you guys probably have seen, but I have got to comment on it. I can't just not comment on it. I have to comment on it. And let me see where it is here. This girl here. Here it is. This girl, I'm sure you guys have seen this, right? I think it was taken down. I paused it there. This is a video that I made of it. This girl saying, at 16, your mom will go insane, start treating you and your siblings horribly. It's important you Gypsy Paul is a real estate. It's important you Gypsy Rose that hoe. This, you guys, and I'm sure you're well aware, I don't have to tell you this, but I just want to go on the record. This is the reason why, one of the big reasons why, right, that we are on the truth train. We don't want this out in the world. We don't want young people seeing Gypsy Rose as this big influencer. And we know how Gypsy Rose brags as part of her social media stuff. She's over the top. And so these, young people who are very vulnerable and can be influenced so easy by the culture, right? They're all on TikTok. They're all watching what's going on. And we find one person that does this. Now, if there's just one girl that does this, how many are thinking it, but aren't posting anything? This is a big worry. And this is why our work is so important. This is why we're doing what we're doing. It's one of the main reasons. It's why I think that the truth train keeps growing and growing and growing, because more and more people are waking up and they're saying, you know what? There's something wrong with having a woman who murdered her mother being some kind of TikTok influencer. It's just, are we going to accept that as a society? Are we going to allow that as a society? I don't think so. So that's why I think what we're doing is important. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to go on the record with that. You know what I mean? I really did. Okay. This is kind of a hodgepodge of stuff here that I'm going to go over during this live. And one of the things that was really weird over the last couple days during my research is that Christy Blanchard kept coming up. Many of you know, most of you know, Christy Blanchard is the stepmother of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And Christy Blanchard, a lot of people had been telling me she's really central to this whole thing, not to the murder, but what happens after the murder, what happens with the whole defense and the Munchausen by proxy becoming such a big deal. And that Christy was all on social media and she was aligning with these different people. And I listened and I saw certain things like on the early Facebook groups. There was early Facebook groups and stuff that was happening. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see that happening. But then over the last few days, I see other things that we're going to get to, okay, that made me just go over the top and say, wow, she inserted herself so much into this case. And I want to highlight that a little bit during this live. One thing, I'm gonna start with this. Someone sent me this clip from a TikTok, and let me just go ahead and play it. It is let me just go ahead and play it, and then we'll discuss, and I'll show you what this person is talking about.
One that she don't remember ever saying that.
About that.
Remember in the police files where it said Christy said to the police, she's very smart, you can't watch out.
Yeah. Yes.
Christy told me to tell everyone that she don't remember ever saying that. And she swears on her life.
Memory loss.
Mm-hmm. That must be something in that family.
Yeah, the police just documented it wrong. Okay.
That memory loss is going around there in that family. I don't know. I don't know.
That's from an official police document.
Okay, the person here who's talking is a person that goes by the name Boston for a long time. They were kind of part of the Gypsy camp. There was a falling out. Boston decided, nope, she didn't want to be a part of that anymore. And so I guess she still sometimes, or Christy still contacts her sometimes. And so what Boston is saying here is, well, I'll just play the first part again.
About that.
Remember in the police files where it said Christy said to the police, she's very smart, you can't watch out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Christy told me to tell everyone that she don't remember ever saying that. And she's
okay, so what is she talking about? What is she talking about that Christy is saying she doesn't remember ever saying that? Well, I'm going to show you, because this is the kind of bullshit that goes on over there, right? This is the kind of stuff, it's in a police report. I'm going to show you it right now, verbatim. When the cops call somebody, and as you can see there, let me move myself. As you can see there, it's in quotes, very smart. Don't let her fool you. This is a police report. The detective was called Christy to talk to her about the case. Okay. And Christy said Gypsy was, quote, very smart. Don't let her fool you. This is a quote. This isn't, I was discussing something with Christy and she kind of alluded to the fact that Gypsy might, no. This is quotes. he heard these words come out of her mouth. And for whatever reason, Christy felt like she needed to tell Boston to go add to the stage. Sorry. Christy felt that she needed to tell Boston to go over on TikTok and spread the word that I don't remember saying that. I don't think I said that. Now, I'm just starting with that. Okay. I'm just starting with that because obviously Christy did say that to the detective. All right. That's a fact. Okay. And where does Christy come up with that? Obviously, Christy had some knowledge of Gypsy prior to the murder to say that, right? You know, they want us to think that, oh, they never were in contact. They were kind of in contact. And for whatever reason, Christy believed she's very smart. And I think the kind of smart she's alluding to is, you know, it's not a good smart, like a maniacal smart, like a demonic smart, you know, don't let her fool you. Like, don't let her play stupid. Don't let her play dumb. She's very smart. And so I think that's very telling coming out of Christy's mouth. Okay. And that the fact that she wants to distance herself from it now and say, oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, you do know. And you do know you said it. Okay. You do know you said it. All right. Now, this next part I want to get to might be a little controversial, but, and don't worry, we're going to get to the sizzle reel. I want to make sure that everybody's in the chat before I start playing that. This next part might be a little controversial, and this has to do with a man named David Blanchard. Now, who's David Blanchard? I've done a lot of research on David and Kim Blanchard. No relation to the Blanchards. No relation to Rod Blanchard, Gypsy Blanchard. I guess Blanchard is kind of a name down there, a last name like Jones, you know. Anyways, David Blanchard and Kim Blanchard were people that Gypsy and Dee Dee befriended. They were a married couple. They were part of this VisaCon thing. They knew Dan Glidewell. Okay. Dan Glidewell was Gypsy's first obsession, the first boyfriend, the 30-something-year-old guy. They knew who he was. According to reports, they were not friendly with Dan Glidewell and they didn't like Dan Glidewell. Okay. David also was the guy that when the police were at the house, when Kim, his wife, called 911 after they saw the Facebook post, the bitch is dead. Kim sees it, calls 911, and then David and Kim go over to the house, the pink house, okay? Along with, they're met there by other neighbors. After about 5 or 10 minutes, the cops show up because they called 911. All right. While the cops are there, David asks, can I go in? Because this other woman said to the cops, we think this window is open over here. And then they were urging David, these women, one of them was Aaliyah Woodmonsy's mother, hey, go through there. Go through there, go see. Because they had been knocking on the windows, they had been knocking on the doors, and they weren't getting any response. Okay. And so David asked permission from the cops. Can I go in there? And the cops were like, well, it's kind of a gray area. But yeah, we're not going to put you in handcuffs if you do it. We're just kind of going to look the other way, is what they said. And this is in the report. These are in the official reports. So in the view of the police officers, basically, David goes through this window. And the two officers that are on the scene write this in their reports. Okay. So this is witnessed by everyone. Okay. He goes in the house. All right. And he says it's really cold. He opens the front door. He lets these two other women in at the time. They all walk through the house and they don't see anything. All right. Now, David, after he found out that Dee Dee was dead in the house, okay, he freaked out. And he went immediately over to the pink house and started talking to the officers there. And he was so upset about it, according to reports and according to the official police reports, he on his own, on himself, decides he's going down to the Greene County Sheriff's Office. He wants answers. He doesn't understand how he could have missed Dee Dee's body. All right. Now, whether you believe all this or not, I'm telling you, this is per the reports. Okay. You guys are smart people and can make up your own mind about all of this. Okay. But what's interesting to me about David Blanchard is when he goes down to the Greene County Sheriff's Department, they take him into a room and they interview him. And what's not interesting to me is about him going through the window. I've heard the story. Cops were there. I totally believe that story per the police reports. Okay. What's interesting to me about David Blanchard is the other things he says in this interview. And so we're going to play a little clip of that. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Okay. Now, I want you guys to understand that this interview took place the day after they found Dee Dee. So this is just boom. Nobody knows anything that's going on. They've just found Gypsy in Wisconsin the day before. I mean, everyone, even the cops are trying to figure it out, as you'll see in part of this. So I'm going to go ahead and I want you guys to listen to part of this because I think you'll also find this interesting. And yes, this is going to also have to do with Christy. So Christy's going to come into play here also. All right, here we go.
With romantic intentions. And with reading the probable cause statement, one of those three is obviously true. The reason why we came down here today was because Kim has been being messaged by a lady claiming to be Gypsy's stepmother.
Okay.
The web page that we had set up, praying for Dee Dee and Gypsy, there have been people on there that say that they know her from Louisiana, stating that all this medical crap is wrong. You know, she's older than what she says she is. This has all been a scam. And it's like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. What David has said is that the reason they went on down there is that they, besides what I just told you, kind of the lead up to this, is that he identifies Christy and he's talking about this Facebook post, and he said, I don't understand. All these people who are from Louisiana are saying she's not sick, and they're saying she can walk, and they're saying all of these things. And David's like, what's going on with this? So I want you to understand who the one person he identifies here. It's Christy, right? Christy. Let me just back it up a little bit so we can just one more time, because this is going to become very important.
Was because Kim has been being messaged by a lady claiming to be Gypsy's stepmother.
Okay.
The web page that we had set up, praying for Dee Dee and Gypsy, there have been people on there that say that they know her from Louisiana, stating that all this medical crap is wrong. You know, she's older than what she says she is. This has all been a scam. And it's like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Because I had three running theories, because I told this is something that didn't come up again later, especially with talking to you, I don't know why. But when I was talking with the female officer there, this should have been 2011. There was a Danny Glidewell. Does that name come up at all?
I think you said something about that Sunday. I think the name sounds familiar, but
okay. He basically coerced Gypsy with romantic intentions. To take money. This is what I heard from Dee Dee. and everything that took money and took a cab to his house. So initial theory was that Gypsy's growing up, she's curious and got suckered in by somebody who knows that they have pain medications. So it's easy motivation right there. And then after discussions last night, the other that we've just all been duped.
Yeah.
And she wanted out.
Yeah. And let me ask you this. Do you know, did Gypsy and Dee Dee, did they have a good relationship, would you say? Or
every time you saw them together, they were mother, daughter. Oh my God, we're here for each other 100%. And just, yeah.
Did Dee Dee treat Gypsy like she was,
on a pedestal?
Huh?
On a pedestal.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. Did she treat her like she was, like, 4 or 5 years old, dress up and
well, I don't even think, I got the impression from Dee Dee that she's not, that Dee Dee's kind of immature anyway.
Okay. Like she has the mentality of a...
Well, no, just that she is 100% Southern woman and wants to trust everybody.
Yeah.
Wants to have fun and play. And, if it's Disney that Gypsy's into, then we'll do Disney everything. I've never seen Gypsy dressed up outside of, costumes for the convention, outside of, like pajamas and stuff.
Okay.
Sundresses.
So anytime she's dressed up, it's been for the Comic-Con stuff, or
and it's been a costume. I've never actually seen her, in like dress clothes.
Okay.
So a couple things there. He talks about Dee Dee saying if Gypsy likes Disney, then Dee Dee was going to do everything Disney. I mean, basically, she puts Gypsy on a pedestal. He has no reason to lie at this point about their relationship. Why would he lie about their relationship? He's telling the guy what he saw, what his observations were of them, right? And so I think that's telling too. That did you see? There's no mistreatment. There's no right. I mean, put on a pedestal. I don't know what else you can say about that.
Well, that's what I mean. Costumes. Okay. But Dee Dee just put her up on a pedestal, and what was there
was a point in time
how
when
was Gypsy?
the Dee Dee invited me and other members of the garrison to her house to discuss future plans for Gypsy, because there was a possibility of getting her into a program, some kind of
future plans, like what?
No, it was a medical testing of some kind that might be able to help solve her stuff, but it.
So what he's talking about here is that Dee Dee invited these guys over. So do you guys remember? And if you don't, no worries, I'll describe it. That and forgive me for the people that really know all of this story by heart, okay? But Gypsy is pictured sometimes in this pink armor, and there's like stormtroopers behind her, and she's like, it's a Star Wars gear stuff, right? And so Gypsy had been in these, what this was this organization called the 501st Legion. What is that? It's just these guys that are really into Star Wars. I guess it's actually worldwide, this organization. And what they do is they dress up as the villains from Star Wars. So the stormtroopers and Darth Vader, whatever the villains are. And they go around and they raise charity. They go to events, go to hospitals, dressed up like this for kids events, charities. Okay. It's a legit organization. Again, it's worldwide. It's not just Springfield, it's worldwide. So he's talking about this, that Dee Dee had invited some of them, so they adopted Gypsy as a mascot to be in their organization. Okay. And they even made her this special armor. It was this pink armor, Star Wars armor. Okay. And so what he's going to now describe, and to me, this was a big deal too. When we're talking about was Dee Dee, how bad was Dee Dee? How bad was she doing the con and all of this? This is an anecdotal story that I think is important. And he said he's going to now describe how Dee Dee invited these men over that were in this organization, that she needed advice about Gypsy and about Gypsy's care. And so let's go ahead and listen.
What is the term I'm looking for? It's almost like a beta test. Future plans for Gypsy, because there was a possibility of getting her into a program, some kind of
future plans, like what?
No, it was a medical testing of some kind that might be able to help solve her stuff. But what is the term I'm looking for? It's almost like a beta test. And that was when, I had lost my mother not too long before that. And it was like, well, I prefer quality over quantity. If this is a treatment that is going to leave her, worse than chemo, but give her a longer time span, then, really what's the point?
Okay. So she got, you guys got together trying to set up a plan, like for.
Well, no, she just wanted our opinion, what we thought.
Oh, okay. I just your opinions on whether she should do it or not. Okay. I thought maybe she was trying to get some type. She needed maybe.
No assistance or anything. Okay. Just our opinion on what we thought.
Okay.
So no assistance. Dee Dee wasn't looking for money. She wasn't looking for them to do anything for them. And somebody wanted to know what year this was. He does go into the year. Yes, it's before Dee Dee knows about the micro deletion. The detective is going to ask him how many years ago was this. So at this point, Dee Dee still would have been searching for answers about what is the problem with Gypsy. And the fact that Dee Dee was really private and that she would invite these men over to her home, to me, means she was very worried. And obviously she was estranged from her family. And these are the only people she kind of had in her life, I guess, that she could go to and ask. And obviously, because she didn't ask anything from them, she didn't say, go do a GoFundMe for me, or go do this, or, I'm going to need X amount of dollars. She's just asking for advice. So that is her motivation. And there's just a little bit more of this. And I think they're going to say what year it is. And that the year is very important.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
Oh God, I don't remember. I mean, it's been some time.
Year or longer?
Oh, longer than that.
Okay.
I'm going like 3.
Did she ever say whether she?
No, that never came back up.
Okay. Okay.
To be honest, my wife spent more time talking with him and doing things with him than I did.
Yeah.
I'm always working or doing something.
Okay.
But is she sick?
Where? I think to a point. I don't know yet. We're trying to figure that out. Yes.
I need something from you, Mr. Green.
I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can.
I am the one that everybody is coming to.
Okay.
I need something that I can say.
We're having a press release right now. All the information is going to be put out.
I'm just going to pause it here real fast because you guys know what this press release is. Do you know the sheriff, when he comes out, things are not what they appear. That is going on at the same time as this interview is going on, just for some reference of what's going on here. So outside these doors, down the hall, the sheriff is in doing the press conference, that infamous press conference, right? This is very early days here where even the detective is, if you listen to this whole interview, by the way, I have the link to the whole interview. It's in my description box. You'll find it in the description box if you want to watch the whole interview.
Shortly.
Okay. Because the founder of the 501st has already posted on the 501st site about things that have been going on, you know, praying for Dee Dee and Gypsy and everything else. And so we've been duped. So,
for the most part, to what, you know, all I can tell you is she can walk. Does she have some medical issues? Yeah, she might. To what extent, we really don't know. We're trying to figure that out right now. You know, could she have some serious issues? Yeah, she might. But can she walk? Yep, she can walk. There's a lot of stuff that we're still trying to figure out. That's why we got you in here. See if yeah. So, you know,
we started a GoFund event to help pay for medical costs.
Okay, this is one of the areas that people really get pissed off about, or there's a lot of conspiracies about the Blanchards, you know, because they were part of this VisionCon thing, and there's just a lot of conspiracy theories out there about them. What is true, what I have found in my investigation is that David Blanchard and his wife were a part of VisionCon. That's true. At some point, and what is VisionCon? Well, it's like a really mini little Comic-Con. This is like a real small community. And so it's where these people that like to dress up in these outfits and they go and hang up. Yeah, they go. It's kind of a party atmosphere. You know, there's some allegations that it's kind of like this BDSM stuff or something. No, that didn't happen at VisionCon. Like maybe behind closed doors it did, but according to all the research I did, and I have no reason to be one way or another way about this. I don't care one way or the other. No, that wasn't VisionCon. Now, there's been some reporting that David was linked to these other nightclubs that did some weird things. And all I can say about that is I did also look into all of that. And while he may have worked at a certain nightclub, most of that stuff that's going around about that is not true. It's not based in, well, let me say this. It's not based in any evidence. There's no evidence to back it up. Did he work at a certain nightclub? Yeah, he'll say that he did. But was he part of booking who came and played music there or who performed there? No, he wasn't. So it's just like these outlandish things. Well, because he worked there, then he must have been a part of this BDSM stuff. Do you know what I mean? And no, there's no, he didn't own the place. He worked there. It wasn't part of his job to do that. So that's what I can tell you. Now, if you guys want to be suspicious about him, I understand that. I get it. You know, I just personal, and I appreciate all of your thoughts about that. I respect all of your thoughts about that. But me personally, the cops watched him go through the window. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he did it and nobody was there, you know. The other women were there. Aaliyah Wood-Monzie's mom was there. You know, this other woman was there. And then the two cops were there. So yeah, he did. Now, a lot of people are like, but it was such a small window. How did he fit? I don't know. I don't know that. All I know is it's in the police reports, and these women also vouch for him and say, well, we watched him go in. He opened the door for us, you know? So I got to accept that. I got to accept that maybe he was a big guy and like squeezed himself like a sausage. I don't know. I don't know how big the window was or it wasn't. I just know he went through it, you know? Now, I do find Dan Glidewell way more problematic than Kim and David Blanchard. And yeah, that what David Blanchard is saying is that Dan Glidewell wanted prescription drugs from Gypsy, or that was part of it, and that he knew that Gypsy could get money. And I mean, come on, let's be honest. Dan Glidewell's like a 35-year-old guy being attracted to Gypsy, who looks 12, right? And Gypsy's actually got to bring ID papers with her when she runs away to go be with Dan, to show him, look, I'm legitimately an adult. I mean, that's the guy, you know what I mean? But did Dan Glidewell, or did David Blanchard, did Kim Blanchard, did any of these people, were any of them a part of the murder? No, I don't think so. Okay. That's based on the evidence. All right. But again, I respect everyone who wants to speculate on that, who wants to have opinions about that. Do you know what I mean? And here's what I'd said a couple of days ago. Starlight, Hello Starlight was live, and I jumped on the live for a minute to just say this. And I'm going to take this down now because I'm going to get to the sizzle reel now. But before I get to the sizzle reel, I want to talk to you guys about the truth movement. And I think all of us are of the same mind that we are hoping that a mainstream source will want to make this documentary, right? This new documentary that is going to show the truth of what all of we know in the truth movement, right? But you guys have to understand, for that to happen, we need people that knew Dee Dee and Gypsy to come forward, like David Blanchard, like even Dan Glidewell, like Kim Blanchard, Aaliyah Woodmansey, Amy Pinegar, who is Aaliyah's mom. I can't remember the other woman that was at the scene that was so upset that Dee Dee, she was with Amy and David and Kim that day at the house when the bitch was dead, that whole thing when they, happened. Can't remember her name, but we need her too. What I am hearing is these people are very reluctant to come forward because of all the talk that immediately they get slapped. Oh, they were part of it. Oh, those people, they were part of it. But we can't do this without them because they're the only witnesses we have. They're the ones that can tell us for sure. What do you really think about Gypsy, right? Because I also know from behind the scenes that a lot of them felt they couldn't say what they really thought if they were a part of any of those documentaries, because the people making the documentaries were kind of like, here's what we're doing with this documentary. Gypsy's the victim. And so a lot of them felt like, well, even if they had other information, they were like, well, they would get slapped down if they said anything other than Gypsy was the victim. And so that's why I'm sharing this with you, this information with you, okay? Is because it's a very delicate dance to get some of these people to come forward. And it's no one's fault. It's no one's fault. Do you know what I mean? I'm not blaming anyone about this. I'm just letting you guys know. You guys are the truth movement. I'm just letting you know, if you want this thing to move forward, then we're going to have to give some of these people some grace. We're going to have to say, well, is there really any evidence to say Dan Glidewell helped Gypsy murder Dee Dee? Is there? I haven't seen any. Please email me if you have that information. I'll be happy to blow it up in a video. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to, put that out there. And I respect all of your opinions. And I respect all of your guys' intelligence and brains. No matter what you think about all these people. We need these people, though. We need them to come forward. All right, I'm going to get to the sizzle reel now. And thank you for hearing me out. I'm not trying to lecture you at all. I'm not. I'm just sharing with you the very real place that we're in right now in the truth movement. And it's going very well. Okay. But that part of it is difficult to deal with and to reassure people, look, no, you're not going to get attacked. You're not going to get stalked. You're not going to have people at your door saying you're a murderer. You know what I mean? I mean, this is what they truly think. They're like, well, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of rumors out there about anyone that knew them. Okay. So not a lecture, just sharing information. Okay. I'm going to get to this now, the sizzle reel. Now, what is the sizzle reel and what is the purpose of it? Okay. Usually a sizzle reel is like 2 to 3 minutes. Ours is 15 minutes because, well, this is the first time we ever did anything like this. And plus, I told Mitch, look, we'll just go ahead. We'll leave it at 15 minutes and then I'll show it to the Truth Train movement. I'll show it to the Truth Movement people. And then you guys can take a look at it, share it, and see which parts you think, oh, that part doesn't need to be in there, or this other part needs to be. I'd like it to be a group effort making these little sizzle reels. And what is the purpose? The purpose is to spread the word, because how many people are going to sit down and watch deep dives, right? Not a lot. Okay. And then when we're shopping around this idea for the documentary, this is what we show. It's what we show to get them interested in it, right? So this is part of it. I've never done anything like this, obviously. So please don't be too hard on me and Mitch. We're doing the best we can. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. And one other thing I need to ask you guys. After tonight's live, I am going to go ahead and then publish it. And if you guys can just come back and, view it again, I would appreciate it. The more views it gets, the more people are going to see it, right? People that aren't in the movement, that don't even know anything about it. But I wanted to show it here I wanted to share it with you guys on the live. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to start sharing the screen. It's 15 minutes. Okay.
Good morning. I want to specify at the beginning of this press conference that this is an ongoing investigation. And I want to start off with saying things are not always as they appear.
One of the most infamous true crime cases of the last decade was that of Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
And when she does speak in Waukesha County Court, she sounds like a child.
2103 West Volunteer Way.
But Gypsy Blanchard is an adult. Although authorities aren't sure exactly how old she is, it's likely somewhere between 19 and 23.
Gypsy Rose, the meek girl with the eerily squeaky high-pitched voice who plotted her own mother's murder by convincing her internet boyfriend, an autistic man with low-level IQ named Nick Godejohn, to assist her in the unthinkable crime.
It's unfortunate that had to go the way it did, because originally I wanted to just run away with her, but she kept on persisting on this alternative thing that really didn't seem to pan out in the way that it never was obviously meant to. Yeah.
This is actually kind of the first time I've been honest. Besides being honest, my attorneys, even that I haven't been completely honest with them. So.
The public was mesmerized as countless documentaries and dramatized scripted series hit streaming networks. HBO's Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, Hulu's The Act, and another called Gypsy's Revenge, all telling us Gypsy was heinously medically and emotionally abused by her mother, who suffered from a condition called Munchausen by proxy. Gypsy Rose was up for the death penalty, but this systematic medical abuse, this alleged Munchausen by proxy diagnosis her attorneys claimed her mother suffered from, was the key to getting her a sweet plea deal.
Other case to look at. We had no precedent for this. And we also weren't sure that there was even a defense that we could raise. If we went to trial and we lost, Gypsy would die in prison. She would spend the rest of her life behind bars.
It's relief. At the very beginning of this, there was the question of the death penalty on the table. Ultimately, it's the best outcome for her. It's the best outcome for the state of Missouri, and ultimately the right thing to do for everybody.
Gypsy was out of prison after 8.5 years by claiming her mother had manipulated doctors into over 30 surgeries she never needed.
How many surgeries did you have?
So many.
10, 20?
I'm pretty sure 30 more. Because I had multiple eye muscle surgeries, multiple leg surgeries, multiple throat surgeries. I don't have salivary glands. Not these anymore because they were removed.
Gypsy also claimed she was 100% healthy.
I was happy to know that I'm perfectly healthy, but at the same time, it hurt because it's like my whole world had been tossed up, and I realized that my mother wasn't who I thought she was.
However, after she was released from prison, netizens discovered the shocking truth that she was forced to admit.
The chromosomal change in which a small piece of chromosome 1 is deleted in each cell. This increases the risk of delayed development, intellectual disability, physical abnormalities, and neurological and psychiatric problems.
Since birth, Gypsy Rose was ill with a rare chromosomal disorder called microdeletion 1q21.1 that caused debilitating symptoms. Her mother had never made her ill. Gypsy was truly ill. Gypsy didn't have over 30 surgeries. Based on her own ebook, Gypsy showed a diagram of her scars, not knowing this would reveal her surgeries. According to her own drawing, she had 4 procedures, and to this day, she has never disputed publicly she had any more than those 4, which many medical professionals claim she needed due to her rare disorder. But that's not all. Shockingly, Gypsy revealed her chromosome disorder to a friend 8 months before the murder, writing, quote, "Anyways, my health has been stable. They found out I have a chromosome deletion. That's why all the medical issues," end quote. Part of Gypsy's abuse narrative is this notion her mother hid her real age in order to hold her hostage. In 2015, Gypsy was 23 years old when she murdered her mother. However, she tells the detective that she is 19.
So how old actually are you? Let's get 19. 19, okay.
It's all scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you not know your age? How did your mom hide your age from you? And I remember you telling me that she never put the right number of candles on your on cake. Remind me of that.
Yeah,
how she hid your age from you.
Yeah, so, it was happening. It probably started happening when I was about 8 years old. And so I didn't ask questions as an 8-year-old. But it continued on until, the crime happened. And so I get that question a lot, actually, like, how did you not know your age? And growing up for birthday parties and for, gatherings, my mom never put numbered candles on my cake.
The only problem is she did have candles on her birthday cakes. Gypsy's lies ultimately catch up with her. Netizens discovered this prison interview where she admits she knew her real age was 19 in 2011.
I knew that I was 19 and I wanted to live my own life as an independent woman. And I told her that I loved her, that it was just time for me to spread my wings and fly, and I left through the back door.
She also claimed her mother rarely allowed her to leave their home.
Jet sets across the country, ball games, galas, the most magical place on earth, Disney World.
Make-A-Wish, we're taking her down to Orlando, all expenses paid and everything.
She even got to meet country superstars Miranda Lambert and then husband Blake Shelton.
Miranda Lambert came to Springfield a few times, and I think she gave Dee and Gypsy money.
Yes, she did. Look at this $3,500 check from the singer's personal account. But that wasn't all. What must I do? Check her out posing with her favorite actors, Elijah Wood and Sean Astin.
Gypsy has been caught telling conflicting stories, and one of the biggest is her ever-changing motive to murder her mother. Prior to her release from prison, Gypsy never mentions she feared for her life.
At this point, there was a significant part of our relationship that I believe broke. I'm like, well, I can just wait till she passes away naturally, but I didn't know how long that was going to be. She could have lived to be 70 years old, and by that time I would be too old to do the things that I would want, like have children and have a life of my own. Because I knew that Mom's never gonna let me be happy, have friends, fall in love, get married, have kids, have a normal life. And I never wanted any more than that. Yes, but it was not because I hated her. It was because I wanted to escape her.
But once out of prison, her motive changed to fearing for her life by claiming her mother had scheduled a surgery on her throat.
You know, your throat was going to be cut, or so it was more of like a life or death sort of situation.
Correct.
Here's how Gypsy describes her motive in her audio book.
This unnecessary exploratory surgery on my voice box felt most threatening to me. Any slip of the hand could leave me voiceless, mute forever. This is what I believed. This is what I felt. This is when the thought finally came. It's me or her.
But then it was discovered her new motive, this fear for her life due to an upcoming surgery, was based on yet another untruth. According to Gypsy's medical records, there was no upcoming surgery. And when confronted about this very significant discrepancy, Gypsy wrote, quote, "You realize that was over a decade ago, right? At the end of the day, the past is what it is. The reason, meaning Gypsy's reason for killing her mother, isn't in the details," she added. "It's the big picture." End quote. Then we have the two medical experts who claim Dee Dee Blanchard had Munchausen by proxy, Dr. Mark Feldman and Dr. John Fabian, who based their opinions on faulty information, namely that Gypsy was 100% healthy. Both experts also admitted they never took a deep dive into her medical records. A few days after the murder, Dr. Mark Feldman stated if he knew Gypsy was actually sick, he would have dismissed the claims that this was a case of Munchausen by proxy. Dr. Feldman also admitted he got his information from the internet, not from any medical records.
As soon as I was aware of the case, I started searching the internet and trying to acquire all the information I could.
The other expert, Dr. Fabian, also stated he was contacted by Gypsy Rose's attorney and started to look into the case, but then stopped after her attorney got the plea deal.
Once Mike had contacted me, about this situation, I have a pretty busy caseload, and I said, Mike, I'm going to get to it. And probably 3 months later, I called him and said, hey, we're ready. And he said, oh my God, we just came up with a plea deal. You won't believe this.
In fact, after she went to prison, Dr. Fabian only spoke to Gypsy for 15 to 30 minutes and was never hired to do any assessment on Dee Dee Blanchard. True Crime Weekly's Stephanie Harlow had this to say about Dr. Fabian's involvement in this case.
And then he spoke to her. He said 15 minutes, definitely
I
under.
said no more than 30.
And then definitely under half an hour. I don't think that that's long enough, especially when you're dealing with somebody like Gypsy, who's a walking contradiction, a walking, as you referred to it earlier, compulsive liar. I don't believe that is anywhere close to enough time to get a solid understanding at all.
With the medical expert's assessment in question, Gypsy also had to admit her mother was never diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy.
Let's share Dee Dee's story about mental illness and Munchausen, even though she wasn't diagnosed. Okay, well, let's go on the fact that, okay, she strongly probably had it.
Gypsy's behavior has been under fire. Less than a few hours after the murder, Gypsy made a big impression on this taxi driver.
She was in a very dark black hoodie, but she had a very odd looking wig on. It was an old looking Cher wig, which I found very normal. The girl looked 12, sounded 5, and had a 40-year-old attitude because she was not afraid to tell me off. I just knew there was something wrong.
Still dressed in their blood-stained clothes, as they got to the motel, Nick started to feel remorse. Gypsy shockingly used sex to console her autistic boyfriend.
Hi, honey. How you feeling it? He's eating a brownie. But later he will be eating me.
While in prison, even the group Bikers Against Child Abuse pulled their support of Gypsy's attempt to get out early, telling the convicted murderer her overall behavior behind bars had been troublesome and she had shown little to no remorse. Since her release, and faced with mounting backlash from netizens demanding the truth, Gypsy continued to vilify the mother she murdered.
Everything that people label me as on this app, my mother was 10 times full, and I should not have to pay for the sins of her fucked up choices in life. That was her. This crazy Blanchard. I'm sorry. She was a fucking con artist, and she was a shit piece of mom. Like, she was not a good mom.
As online pressure mounted for Gypsy to come clean and tell the truth, she doubled down by comparing herself to Christ being crucified on the cross.
I try and model Christ-like behavior. I go to church on Sundays. I read my Bible. I try to model the path of Jesus. I really do. But if you think on it, and you just think on it for a second, crucified Jesus because they didn't believe that he was the Messiah. And if he would have just said, I am not the Messiah, I'm just a mortal man, they wouldn't have crucified him. But he died because he died in his truth. Period. Now let that sit with people. And like I said, I'm not saying I'm anything like Jesus. I'm not Christ. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you crucify someone for not conforming to what you want to believe that they are.
Every documentary and scripted series about Gypsy has been based on faulty assumptions and outright lies. And now with all of this new evidence coming to light, we have to ask, isn't it time to learn the truth? Okay. All right, that's it. That is the sizzle reel. It's going to be published right after the live. I'm going to go ahead and publish it so you guys can find it there and share it. And I love any feedback. We take constructive criticism. Like I said to Lori, when I emailed it to her last night, I said, look, and thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys are great. I like the end. I think the end is good. Isn't it time we learn the truth? I told her, look, it's 15 minutes long. I realize we're going to have to cut it down. And I'm thinking, like, let's make several, of these 2 to 3 minute, clips, so that's that. But this one is also good, I think, because, hey, if you just tell someone, hey, do you have 15 minutes? Just take 15 minutes and watch this video. I mean, most people will watch a 15-minute video, right? And I think for people that know nothing about it, the 15-minute video, this one that we just made, kind of sums up everything, kind of sums it all up, There's so much to this case that obviously, you can't put everything in there. But if you guys want to email me, Becca Scoops at gmail.com, like, hey, I like this part. You know what? Maybe this part doesn't need to be in there. Or, hey, Becca, don't you think this should be in there? I would love to get all of your constructive criticism and suggestions. That would mean a lot to us because I think this is a group effort. Mitch knows how to make these videos, so I'm using Mitch. Mitch, please make this video. And he does. He's a perfectionist. And he's even teaching himself more and more about the Adobe Premiere Pro. That's the app we use to make the video. He's teaching himself even more complicated things to do. So, yeah, I'd love to hear feedback. And thank you guys so much for your support. All right. that's that. And I will publish it. So come back like tonight or tomorrow. Make sure you click on it again so we can get it out in the algorithm. Okay. All right. I wanted to just take a few minutes here to go ahead and go back to your guys' comments and just read a few of them. Go over all of them, actually. Okay, Amy, the Truth Tellers Unite. Thank you so much, Amy. Next, we've got at 31 Rand, $10 super chat. Choo choo. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You know, that looks like Nicole. Is it Nicole? I think it is. I think it is, but I could be wrong. Next, we got 1 ounce of Jameson, $1.99. I have info from 2015. Sent you email. Okay, great. Thank you so much for that gentle reminder. I will definitely be looking for that 1 ounce of Jameson. Next, we've got a new member, Stone I1. Yeah, has become a member to Becca Scoops, meaning they are on the truth train. So welcome them aboard the truth train. Next, we have Karen Bluebird, 3827. She gifted 1 membership. Whoever got it, make sure you give Karen a thank you. Next, we've got Amy, gifted another Becca Scoops membership. Thank you, Amy. That's so generous. Next, we got Stephanie Croy, 2330, $5. She says, GRB manipulated Nick. Yeah, I think we all, yep. Do you think Ken is now being abused, manipulated by GRB? I think she records him, has stuff on him that keeps him in her orbit. Well, I would say this. Anyone involved with Gypsy Rose Blanchard is being manipulated. It's just if you're involved with her in any way, she's gonna try and manipulate you. Now, as far as Ken goes, I think she did the ultimate manipulation on him when she said she was on birth control, which we know she was not, and got pregnant with the baby. Whether you believe there's a baby or not, whatever, he's staying there. And she said she was pregnant and he's there. I think she is, I think there is a baby. So I think that was the oldest trick in the book, right? With that. And I think it's a daily manipulation. Whether he'll come out of it or not, I don't know. And does she have anything on him? Well, during prison, when she was in prison, she was quick to say a lot of accusations against him when their relationship went bad, being that he was gay. She was making fun of that, saying that. And then she was saying that he is on drugs. And so I don't, who knows what she has on him, right? So yeah. Okay. Next, and thank you for your comment, by the way. Next, Carolina girl, one of my favorites. Choo choo, all aboard. Hashtag all aboard the truth train. Thank you. And hashtag Operation Raid. I love both of those hashtags. They're awesome. Thank you, Carolina girl. 1 ounce of Jameson again. Christy knew Gypsy was pretending to be Dee Dee and Facebook messages covering for herself about the picture sent to Rod. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I have that all in one video about that whole scenario. Mariah Townsend, 3082, has become a member. She is gotten on board the truth train. Welcome her on board. We also have Ms. Lady loving this live, Becca. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We've got Amy again, who's gifted another Becca Scoops membership. Oh, girl, you are outdoing yourself today. Next, we have Ms. Lady again, proud to be a member of this community. Let the truth train blaze. Absolutely, Ms. Lady. Absolutely. Next, we have at SJ Fancy Q. She writes $9.99. Thank you for the donation. And she says, first time making a live due to my work schedule. Awesome. Welcome. Thank you so much for spending the time here. I mean, I'm so excited. And you write, so excited for the sizzle reel. I hope you liked it. Love Becca. Love you, Becca. You and Mitch do amazing work all aboard the truth train. Thank you so much. And I also thank you for Mitch. Mitch was like, are they going to watch it? Or are you going to show it? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to show it, Mitch. He goes, oh, he gets so nervous. Oh, I hope they like it. I'm like, I'm sure they'll like it. I'm sure they will. All right. Next, we have at 11, my future. Becca, you are doing such an amazing job. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being a member for 1 month. That means everything to us. Okay. Next, we have Mighty Mulatto, one of my favorites. Hey, Mighty. He writes, David Blanchard seems shaken about the allegations. I thought so too. I thought so too. I know a lot of people think that, nefarious things about him, but I thought watching the interview, and you know what? Maybe I'll get Mitch's take on the interview. He really hasn't watched that David Blanchard's interview, but because Mitch is the expert. Mitch used to conduct those kind of interviews and interrogations. I don't know if I mentioned to you guys that Mitch was undercover as a detective too. So he had to play parts. Do you know what I mean? He would have to play parts. Yeah, he was undercover Vice when I met him. I don't know what was going on with that, but yeah. Anyways, so when I met him, he had like this big goatee, long hair, because he was an undercover detective. He has a lot of interesting stories. I'm trying to get Mitch for December. We're going to have Mitch come on a live. So look forward to that. And I'll get him to tell some stories. Plus we'll get his take on all of this stuff. All right, Mighty Mulatto, thank you so much. Next, we have Keish. Keish, you're going to be a part of this live in a minute, Keish. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Hashtag love Becca Scoops. Thank you so much, girl. Thank you so much. Next, we have Sizzle74, who gifted 1 Becca Scoops membership. Thank you so much. That's so generous. Next, we have at Whale Ska Rivera. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm sorry. 4981. Dee Dee wouldn't DNA test Gypsy if she was healthy. Good point. Good point. Next, we have another 1 ounce of Jameson. I wish I was taking the shots of 1 ounce of Jameson every time you write something. Mandalorian suit, October 2012. Worn at VisiCon 2013. Thank you so much. Those are great little factoids there. I love factoids like that. Thank you. Next, Sizzle74. Thank you for naming the reel after me. Yes. Yes. You're welcome. All right. Next, we have Claire. Wow, 50 pounds. So generous all the time, Claire. You humble Mitch and I always. And you write, I know I always say it, but I so appreciate you and Mitch for all your hard work. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We need, sorry, I can't see, something of the internet. Is it bugs? Roach of the internet for safety reasons for our young. Love you. And please, everyone, hit the like button. Thank you so much, Claire. Thank you so much. I love you so much. All right, next we have Jesse Essex, $4.99. Allegations of abuse all stem from the later accounts of Gypsy and have never corroborated or proven. Yes, true. No, not one allegation has been found as fact. True. All of this comes from Gypsy. Every allegation of the abuse, and there's no corroborating facts. Very true. Next, we have Jesse Essex, $4.99. I have begun to write the text-based media outlets for their sources when their articles state the abuse as a fact. Thank you. Wow, wonderful work there. Thank you for putting in the time. All old articles can be corrected. Yeah, I wish they would. They're supposed to correct their articles. They are. That's journalism ethics. They're supposed to write a retraction and let their readers know, you know what, we put out this article, we said this, and we have got to print a retraction. Yeah, they're supposed to. Main Chick Carrie, another one of the favorites of the channel, $1.99 super sticker. Thank you. Thank you so much. Claire, again, 10 pounds. Thank you, Claire. Very generous. Please, everyone, share some more. We need this out for the truth. Fantastic work, Becca. Thank you so much. She's talking about the sizzle reel. I think I've named the sizzle reel. It's going to be named Gypsy Rose Unmasked, something like that. Because I don't think I should name it sizzle reel. You know what I mean? But anyways, yes. But we know it around here as the sizzle reel, right? Yep. Okay. a couple more, and then we'll get back to the show. Mersey Me, one of my mods. Thank you for being here, Mersey Me. Thank you to all of my mods who are here. You guys are doing a great job. It's like peace of mind to know you guys are in the chat, making sure everything goes smoothly. And she says, great sizzle, Becca and Mitch, with hands clapping. Thank you, Mersey. I really appreciate that. Christy Solange, however you say it. I'm sorry if you're butchering your name. I really am. Gifted 1 Becca membership. Thank you. That is so generous of you, Christy. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop there, and I'll start again in a little while because I want to get back to the show. We have some other important things that we need to go over. All right, guys. I hope everyone's doing well in the chat. If not, let one of the mods know or let me know. And as always, if something happens in a live and, let me know, email me, I will get to the email. Okay. Speaking of cash, I'm going to go ahead and start off this with a little palette cleanser. As you know, I've asked people to send me in because we're going to be making more sizzle reels. And so I said, hey, it would be kind of cool if we had some community members in different sizzle reels. So there's not just going to be one. Again, there's going to be multiple. And so some of you have sent in your little videos, your little 30-minute videos. I'm going to start off with this one for this part of the show.
When Gypsy unalived her mother, I was pregnant with my first child. And I thought, how can a daughter take their mother's life? And then to find out that daughter had a major medical issue. Dee Dee did everything to keep her daughter alive, fighting this chromosome deletion disorder. And Gypsy took her life for it. It's unfortunate that Gypsy is sick, but it's worse that Claudine Blanchard is dead. Justice for Claudine Blanchard.
Thank you so much, Keish. Really appreciate that. I will be playing a couple more as we go along. So you guys, still time. Feel free if you guys want to send in a little 30-minute clip of yourself. Yeah, I love it. I think this shows the community. This is showing everyone we're a community. It's not just content creators. We've got I know Keisha's a content creator, but most of these are coming from people who aren't content creators. And I'm going to get to some of those in a minute also. One from the Netherlands, a really, really cool one. You know what? Let me go ahead and play that one right now because it's so cute. So this woman, her name's Diane. She's from the Netherlands and she's a disabled woman. Let me go ahead and find it. Okay. And so hers doesn't have any, we'll just watch it. Okay. Just watch it. This is from Diane from the Netherlands. That was so cute. Thank you so much, Diana from the Netherlands. Hope you're doing well. Know that you're disabled. How cute riding your bike. Wasn't that cute, you guys? I love that. I love stuff like that. It's just like these are authentic people. You know, you guys are real people out there, right? And just love it. So if you guys are you're feeling excited about this, you're like, yeah, you know what? I should do a video. I should do a video. I'd like to be in a video, you know. And like I said, some of these will be featured in little sizzle reels. So you guys are welcome to send them in to me. And I love it. I love it. Okay. Let's get back to some other stuff here that I wanted to go over. I'm sure you guys know of the content creator Morgan Elena. She does really great work. I find her well balanced. I find her factual, and plus she's interesting. You know what I mean? It's just facts are facts, and sometimes facts can be boring. And so as a content creator, you try to make it interesting, right? And I think she does a really good job. Some of the stuff I found that I'm going to play now are from one of her videos, and you can find her in the description box. If you're not following her and you like learning, if you want to be in the anti-gypsy community, she is another content creator that does really good work. Okay, this part I took from her latest video, this montage, and I really like this montage.
Made you lose your teeth?
That was like medications and things like that. My mother would take me to the dentist, and she told them that my teeth were in pain, and so they extracted them.
So what's interesting is in the medical records, there's no clear answer for why they were extracted.
I read that.
Now, what we can speculate on is lack of good nutrition. We can speculate medication.
That was my question. I had said maybe like certain medications will deteriorate your teeth.
Correct.
Or if, you know, if you're taking any sort of liquid, if it sits on in your mouth for a long time, like would that contribute to it?
Correct. So, you know, we can only really kind of speculate why by seeing other facts. So
Most of Gypsy's teeth are not even hers because of the medication that her mom was giving her that she had no condition for.
What was the perceived illness, or what in fact caused you to lose all your teeth?
So the cause is actually not known. All that I know from the medical records is that my mother told them that my teeth were very fragile and were crumbling, and so they decided to extract. So the dentist extracted several of my teeth, capped other teeth in chrome caps, and that's what happened to my teeth. So it's mysterious why doctors and dentists would remove healthy teeth. So I'm not really
secure about the hospital gave me free dentures because chemotherapy and treatments like that will rot your teeth.
And ultimately had her salivary glands removed. And that can have complications like tooth loss.
After surgery, I had more and more of my teeth removed.
I want to back up there. Just it's almost over, but that shot of the roof of her mouth, you can kind of see it's kind of shadowy, but can you see how it goes up the vault, the center part? It's very elevated, very elevated. And look at those teeth. She says, I don't know why they would remove healthy teeth. Why are they chrome capping teeth? Why would a dentist chrome cap teeth? Because they're falling apart. They're not healthy. I know you guys know that. It's just, and I know you know all of this, but I love this montage she put together. It's just really, really great.
And now I have 16 teeth left. Today, my dentures don't fit in properly.
When you're sitting there listening to her speak.
All right, that's it. And if you want to watch Morgan's whole video, I highly recommend it. There's stuff in that video. She goes over stuff that in her latest video that I think is so important. She makes this point. I'm going to just piggyback off of it. She's talking about how they gave Gypsy that plea deal, right? And how did that come about? And I know I've gone over the different, things about that. But I think one point she makes, I'd like to also make, add to, is that when you're part of a deal like this, the defense has to send to the prosecution all of what's called their discovery, right? And so what can happen is they can send over so much stuff, so many documents that the prosecution and their team look at it and go, oh my God, we have to read all this. We have to go over all this, right? And I think what happened is they sent over all these medical records, all this stuff. And what Dan Patterson knew was, well, she was in the wheelchair and now she can walk. And you got this guy, Dr. Mark Feldman, out here who I laugh at, Googled about the case, saying it's a clear case of Munchausen by proxy. And I think that was part of the reason he was just like, whatever, okay, let's give her a plea deal. You know what I mean? It was public sentiment. Plus, I think what Morgan Elena said is they probably did flood them with all this discovery, all this paperwork, that if they really wanted to take her to trial, Patterson would have had to have someone come in, an expert, hired more of a bigger team to just go over all of those medical records, really dig into them. And he didn't. He didn't, right? He just was like, okay. I mean, that's my opinion. I'm pretty sure he didn't go out of his way. Like Mike didn't go out of his way. He was going to hire Dr. Fabian, but then he got the plea deal and tells Dr. Fabian, look, I don't need you. Forget it. You don't need to look into it. So here's one other part about Dr. Feldman I want to make. I know I've said this before, but it's worth saying again so you guys understand this, so everyone understands this. So Dr. Feldman is one of those experts you saw on the sizzle reel, right? He was the first expert to come out, and he claims to be the expert in Munchausen by proxy in the nation. All right. And so he said, yeah, but here's what everyone missed. Here's what all the journalists missed. So you guys know there was this blog in real time that was tracking everything. It was called the Thought Catalog. And Megan Pack was the journalist who was recording all of this. This is from real time on June 19th. So Dee Dee's found on, I think, around June 15th. And so 4 days later, Megan Pack is calling Dr. Fabian to get his reaction or his opinion about the case. And in this, you'll see, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to tell you the most important part of what Dr. Feldman tells her. He said at first, he tells Megan, at first, I didn't think this was a case of Munchausen by proxy because I assumed Gypsy was ill. Get it? I assumed Gypsy was ill. And so basically what he's saying is, when I learned through the media that she was 100% healthy, then his opinion changes. So what does that mean? Well, that means if he would have been told the truth, yeah, she actually is ill, he would have said, well, then I don't think that's a case then of this. Right? He had a problem with it anyways. Why? Because he said this is unprecedented. Nobody who's had Munchausen has ever murdered the so-called alleged perpetrator. It's never happened. And that was another reason he was kind of taken aback as the Munchausen expert. He was like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? He was just so, this is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like this. So, you know, I don't know what Dr. Feldman sees and doesn't see, but I would really hope that if he does get this information now, there is a way for him to save face, as we say, right? There's a way for him to save face. Why? Because he didn't have the information that she was ill. And so he can point to that thought catalog and say, look, I said at first that if I knew she was ill, that it probably wasn't a case of Munchausen. And now, 10 years later, learning that she actually is ill, he can say, you know what? This wasn't a case. He can save face. I know it's kind of hard for him to do. Do you know what I mean? To be out there and get the media attention and all of that. But I'm hoping either him or Dr. Fabian is going to come forward and say, look, you know what? We didn't have all the information, because truly that wasn't told to them. Right? It wasn't told to them. And you can't, you know, give these doctors, you know, I don't know how many pages of actual medical records Gypsy had, but let's say there's 1,000. Let's say there's 1,000. Okay. You really expect them to go through all of those, every single page and then to find that micro deletion thing? Do you know what I mean? I mean, you would think up front that is what somebody would be telling them. Look, just so you know, she has this rare chromosome disorder. Here's the medical records, but just so you know, in these medical records, that would be the right way to do that. You know, not to say, here's the medical records, find it out, everything for yourself, you know. It's just, I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just my opinion. You know, I don't know what you guys think, but that's how I see it. And I'm hoping they'll change their mind now and come forward and say, we didn't know. We were duped. We were duped by the defense. We were duped by Attorney Stanfield. We were duped, right? Even Mommy Dead and Dearest, the people who made that documentary, did they know? No, I'm pretty sure they didn't. No one knew. And here's the big question. We know Gypsy knew. We know that for a fact. You saw that in the sizzle reel. She told Aaliyah 8 months before the murder, hey, I know I've got this thing, right? But the question is, did she tell Stanfield? Did Gypsy tell Stanfield? Or was Gypsy just like, oh, they're going with this Munchausen thing. Yeah, I better stay quiet. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think she just stayed quiet? Didn't tell Stanfield? That's a question, right? That's a question. All right. I've got one more thing here. Well, a couple things. Here is also from Morgan Elena's new video that she just put out. This was part of the jailhouse phone calls. Some of you probably have heard this before, but I thought it was worth going over again right now.
Dating website. And my mom didn't know I was on the website because, you know, she would never let me date. So anyway, I just.
So interesting here, Gypsy's talking to her aunt, and one of the main themes, right? One of the main themes is my mother would never let me date, right? My mother would never let me date because we know that's part of the motive. The motive is Dee Dee said no to going out with a 35-year-old man, right? So, yeah, here we go.
And anyway, so I went off to try to find a boyfriend on my own on the internet. And I thought a Christian site would be the best, you know? Come on. No, he was on the other side. You can't. No, and I work for some people, but some people it don't. And you got the bad one. I got the don't. If you would have ran away, on your own, then the whole world would have been looking for you. Right. You know, like me and Nanny was saying today, hey, Dora, the worst thing about this, and Tiffany was saying it too, the worst thing about this is that you catching all the heat. I'm catching.
You know, it's weird. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I think, is this aunt being supportive because she brings up things like, well, if you just would have run away, she says that, right? And now she's saying the worst thing about this now is you're taking all the heat.
But my lawyer says that there are supporters out there too. Yeah. And I'm like, I was completely honest with him, and I'm like, I was on a lot of medication, some that weren't even mine. And so I know that this sounds crazy, but I don't remember making those texts, or sending those texts, or having any of these conversations.
So now she's in. What happened was all of the texts came out, the pictures that licking the knife, those pictures, and she's totally embarrassed by it, right? And she's saying, I don't even remember doing that. I don't remember writing those highly sexualized, gross texts. I didn't. I was on medication, and some of it wasn't even mine.
I wouldn't do that normally.
I wouldn't do that normally.
Yeah, I know. So well,
Oh my God, right? Now that we've seen, or many of us have seen, the prison emails, I wouldn't do that normally. I wouldn't talk sexually or hypersexually to men I don't know. I wouldn't do that. That's not me. Yeah. Yeah, it is you. Yeah, you did do that. Yeah, you did it, and you continued that behavior in prison, which is why the bikers against child abuse wrote to you and said, no, we have a problem with you, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. We will not be backing you for early release. You should be ashamed of yourself. You show no remorse. Your behavior in prison is troublesome at best.
I know all of that. I mean, he's going to do the best he can, and that's all we can hope for, you know. So, just be positive about it.
And it was bad today. I'm still shaking. I'm still shaking.
Yeah.
He had told me.
What she's talking about, and she's talking to Rod here, is that they were in court that day. And that was the day all of that came out. The prosecution, the preliminary hearing where the prosecution is showing their case, and they're showing the salacious text messages, and they're showing the pictures, and they're showing her terrible behavior, her manipulative behavior, her hypersexual behavior towards Nick. And so she said, I'm still shaking. It was a really bad day for me. It was horrible. I don't remember it. I was on medication.
He's like, well, we have a plan and we have.
You were on medication for 3 years? I mean, wow, really? Like every single time you wrote something, you were zonked out of your mind? Wow, that's odd.
Talked about it, and our defense is going to be the battered self syndrome, and he knows what he's doing, and I put all my trust in him, and I know that he'll get me released for the amount of time possible.
But this is where we are going to call it quits for.
So that was the end of her video. It's like a 38 minute video over at Morgan Elena's channel. If you guys can, I appreciate her. Special thanks to her for allowing me to use those clips in today's live. And if you guys don't know about her, please find her link in my description box and go take a look over there. She's got some good stuff. Okay. All right. We got a few other things here. We got a show. Here is another person who sent in a video.
I want to talk to you about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, how we are being forced.
The sound on this might be a little low. If we use any portions of this in a video, we will go ahead and elevate. Mitch knows how to elevate it. So if I won't say anything, if you guys want to turn up your sound, if you need to hear this truth train person, go ahead.
To watch this train wreck of a person try to influence people. She has over 9 million followers on TikTok. And she should not be allowed to do that. Her crimes were over the internet. It's just insane that she's allowed to do this. She's dangerous. Her family should not be allowed to make money. She should not be allowed to make money. And I knew even before she got out of prison, from the first time watching the HBO specials and things like that, that she was guilty. And you don't kill your mother, and there's no excuse for it. None. And I don't know how she got the plea deal. It's ridiculous, and she's still a danger to society. She lies, manipulates. Poor Nick didn't have a chance in hell with all the information that was leaked from her and her team after she got out. All the ridiculousness of her going online saying how this is her. Can't bring me down. I'm on a high right now. Blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. And she's trying to influence our young and the impressionable young. And she should not be allowed to do that. And she needs to go. And enough is enough. We're not going to take it anymore. We're done. And I guess that's all I would like to say for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys could hear that again if the volume was a little low, but yeah, I mean these are just regular people on the truth train that are passionate, that are like, look, we can't allow her to do this. We can't allow her to influence the young people, right? It's just the movement is expanding, it's growing every day. New people are getting on board the truth train, and I appreciate those videos. I have one more. It's really like 9 seconds long. This is a guy. You know, we don't have a lot of guys on the truth train, so if we do this guy just sent this in. Here we go.
Hi everyone. I don't like Gypsy Rose Blanchard because she brutally killed her mom. Her mom.
Okay, I appreciate that one too. Quick, you know how guys are. To the point. I'm not going to dilly-daddle around here. I don't like her. She killed her mom, okay? Love that guy. Love it. Thank you for sharing that with us. The 10-second clip, you got to appreciate a guy doing that, right? You know, and hey, men care about this too. Mitch cares about it, you know? Yeah, most of our viewers are women, but we do have a good portion of men also. So we appreciate that guy doing that. Thank you so much. All right. Let me see what else I have. I hope you guys are doing well in the chat. You guys hanging in there on this Saturday night, the Saturday before Thanksgiving. I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I got to say that before I forget. Okay. We're just going to listen to, I know. Bear with me. Morgan had a little clip of our favorite Gypsy lieutenant, Bree. And the only reason I even play any clips of Bree is because she's reading from Mike Stanfield's notes. And so that's interesting, right? It's not that Bree's interesting. It's what she's reading that's interesting. So let me go ahead. Morgan, Elena, this clip also comes from her latest video, this clip. And here we go.
You'll learn that it wasn't that it didn't work out. This was never like the first. So when Gypsy talked about this on a phone call with somebody, yeah, Mike probably had those conversations with her and explained about her in prison, never has, and doesn't have any background. You think she understands anything legal, but you're going to learn, I'm going to read you Mike's notes and you're going to learn exactly why he spouse syndrome. It's not because that right there was going to be the defense. He knew he was going to have to find something. That's just the category. He knew it's something like that. Okay. So Gypsy is charged with first degree murder. Then her mother Dee Dee, her boyfriend Nicholas is also charged. They met in a long relationship. I'm going to get to the most important part.
I know she's talking fast. At this point, though, I want to just reiterate, now she is reading from the notes, just so you know. She is reading from Mike Stanfield's notes. This is what Mike Stanfield wrote.
In March, they first met. Nick rode a bus from Big Bend to Springfield. Gypsy's mother figured out that they knew each other and forbade Gypsy for talking to him. Gypsy and her mother's relationship became toxic. In June, they planned on alive her. Nick went to Wisconsin.
Just wanted to stop it there. Even Mike admits there in his notes, and I'm sure he didn't think these notes would ever be read out loud. This probably wasn't a good thing for Gypsy or Bree to share, because now we can dissect it, right? We can dissect it. And what he's saying here is that he's talking about Nick coming from Wisconsin to visit Gypsy when they go to that Cinderella premiere, right? And Stanfield says after that, Gypsy and Dee Dee's relationship becomes toxic. Not Gypsy feared for her life. Nope. That's not what he's saying, is it? That's not what he's saying. He's saying their relationship became toxic. So here is the pressure point. What is it? It's relationships. Her relationships with men. All right, let's go on. Oh, damn it. Here.
Plans on alive her. Nick went to Wisconsin. The Gypsy was in the bathroom while it happened. The two of them traveled to Wisconsin where they ultimately apprehended. Gypsy's case is very unique. At the time of this murder, her mother had worked out an elaborate scam and had raised Gypsy to assist her in that, to be complicit, which y'all do understand what complicit means, right? It doesn't make you not a victim. Gypsy was almost completely isolated from her entire family and from the outside world. Gypsy never went anywhere alone. She had very limited contact with family members. Her entire family believed that she was sick and couldn't walk. She was given seizure medication by her mom.
That's weird, right? Because going back to now David Blanchard's interview, what is he saying about that post? All these people from Louisiana are writing Gypsy wasn't sick, right?
Mother, she has taken meds or had seizures since she has not taken meds or had any seizures since her arrest 3 months ago. Most of her teeth are false.
Are you guys there? I'm waiting. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. It was just like boom. It just went out. It was like so weird. It was like, what is going on? I said StreamYard in the beginning, StreamYard now. I'm here. I'm alive. You guys are like, did they take Becca out? Is she done? Is she dead? Oh my God, you guys, call 911. They got Becca. Becca's down. She's down. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh God, you guys. I thought it too. I was like, the screen went wrong, and it said on StreamYard it goes, something went wrong, and I'm like, what is happening? That's worse than a copyright strike, Gypsy. You've taken me out. Oh my God. Okay. I'm back. I'm alive. It is me. This is real time. This isn't a video I pre-recorded. I am alive. I'm blinking though. Help. All right, but you know what happens when this happens? Everything I had in the studio is gone. So let me real quick. Let me real quick bring up this. This wasn't very professional. Let me get this this stupid clip here that we were listening to.
Distance to help him find.
All right, hold on. Let me put it on.
The correct defense it would be because it's
All right.
that correct defense it would be. The correct defense.
Let me find the place. We don't. One thing we don't want to do is to listen to Bree over and over again when we don't need to. You know what I mean? I'm not about torturing you guys. I really am not. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging in with me. I appreciate it.
Since she has not taken meds or had any seizures since her arrest 3 months ago. Most of her teeth are false. She states that her mother was giving her medication, verbally, emotionally, and occasionally physically abusive with Gypsy. Gypsy wouldn't do what she was told. Dee used false ailments to scam tons of charities all over the country. Gypsy was told how to act and what to say most of the time. She never got to speak for herself.
Can I say something since I'm in the funny mood right now? Can I say something? I'm looking up here on the briefing, right? And the first one up is Gypsy, right? And the second one down is this woman named Dreamer. If you guys don't know who Dreamer is, I don't know how to describe it. And I love Dreamer. I mean, she's this older woman. She's very codgery. She's I don't know how to describe Dreamer. She's something you need to experience, okay? But her new thing is down there, it's have a seat. She wants everyone to sit down and listen to her talk, I guess. You know what I mean? So before I go, I have something I'm going to show Dreamer. Her Dreamer's new thing is have a seat. I'm going to show you guys something before we go that's going to be directed right at Dreamer. All right.
When Gypsy started expressing interest in having a full relationship and possibly marrying Nick, she says her mother became very controlling and abusive, telling her that no one loves her except for her mom and that she would never be allowed to leave because the doctors all thought that Gypsy was crazy and they would return her home if she left. Nick likewise was very abusive and controlling. I have reviewed many of his this part, y'all. and I hope it comes out soon. Nick, likewise, was very abusive and controlling. I have reviewed many of his Facebook conversations with female friends and Gypsy. His interactions are very controlling. He can demand certain words. He said he can talk bad about Gypsy, but
Nick demands certain words, but Gypsy demands murder. Who's more manipulative? Nick wants you to say certain words. Gypsy says you need to murder my mother. Who's more manipulative? Nick says you need to capitalize this word. Gypsy says you need to murder my mother. I mean, this is the defense attorney, obviously. That was like even the point Morgan made in her video. She's like, obviously, he's trying to paint this in the best way possible. That's his job. His job is to paint all of this in the best way possible. But you got to think, Mike Stanfield isn't a stupid guy. He's reading those things, but all he can come up with, Nick was demanding she say certain words, oh, wow, that sounds really abusive. He was making her say certain words. Wow, that's scary. And what was Gypsy doing? Oh, Gypsy was saying he needed to murder her mother. Yeah, not so abusive.
One of his female friends is not allowed at all to say one word that disparages her. So he's saying like he could talk bad about Gypsy, but one of his female with Gypsy, he talked her into S&M. So he's getting this from Facebook messages, y'all. Okay. And she says, and the Facebook posting confirm that it started very pedestrian and grew into very dark and controlling. She was the submissive partner. She would post a pic of some S&M activity, and she was required to respond. Oh, he would post a pic of some S&M activity. She was required to respond. She was also required to respond in certain ways.
That's not true. I've seen a Facebook post of Gypsy. One of the most infamous ones is this Beauty and the Beast one. It's the BDSM Beauty and the Beast, and the Beast is holding this woman in this sheer nightgown. You can see her buttocks, right? Then Gypsy posted, and then Nick goes, oh, we can relate to this from the opposites or something, honey. So, again, this is Gypsy's defense attorney talking, and Brie gets so worked up. She's so excited. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what Mike Stanfield said? Yeah, we hear it. It's not the truth, but yeah, he's got to make an argument for his client, right?
To call him daddy, failed to respond correctly. He would get very upset because he would have to delete the post and start all over again. He would also tell her to take pictures and costumes and nude photos. He said
these little quirks about Nick, and I mean, maybe some of them are true, like the word thing, or this is the autism, right? This is how the autistic, autism comes out in different ways with different people, and they like order and they like things a certain way. I mean, many of you may even be autistic or have a child that's autistic, right? Or a sibling. And a lot of them, it manifests in very different ways. But my point is this whole thing about Nick wanting a certain word, or Nick not liking this post and wanting it to be reposted in a certain way. That's the autism, you idiot. It's his disability. All right. It's nothing against him. It's one of the more disgusting reasons this is so disgusting is because he was disabled and she was taking advantage of him,
Says that if she didn't do it, he would be very angry. According to his writings, he had multiple personalities, 3 personalities, interacted with Gypsy as well as his other friends. Victor Aziz Facade was very dark and homicidal. He is he was the one who was talking to Gypsy when meaning Victor, when Nick unallowed Gypsy says that Victor was very dangerous, and the text Nick sent the night before showed he showed up for the murder, stated that she was to do whatever Victor said because he loved to kill and he did not want to hurt Gypsy. Which imagine the person that's going to love murder is saying that like you have to behave because this person likes to kill. So that means that Gypsy has to listen to him.
So okay, I don't know why Brie is acting like this.
So that's it. And, Morgan goes on to give her thoughts on it. And I've kind of said my thoughts, during this. And yeah, so it's just, it's kind of like, it's his defense. It's her defense attorney. Of course, he's going to slant it as Nick being the manipulator, as Nick being the aggressor, as Nick taking advantage of Gypsy. That's what he would need to argue in court. Right? Because that's his job, to give her a defense, to be her defense attorney, right? If I was her defense attorney, which I never would be, but let's just say, and I'm not an attorney, but let's just say I was I would do that. I would have to get up there and give her a vigorous defense and try to slant it like, well, Nick wrote it like this. Maybe he meant it like this, even though in your mind, that's not true. Right. But you are charged with defending this person to the best of your ability. Right. And so, yeah, you're not supposed to lie, but if you're interpreting text messages, well, it's your opinion, right? There's not a truth or whatever about it, Although if you read them in sum total, you totally see who's the manipulator. And of course, Nick has autism. And so, anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. All right. So I wanted to go to one more thing here. And before we get to more of your comments, and then we'll be wrapping it up. And I want to keep you guys super late. So when I I did want to show you this. Oh boy. Okay. So someone sent me this and I forgot to put it in my last video. Okay. So apparently this comes from a teaching website. You guys this is going to blow your effing minds. So you see up there, it says TPT. This is from like homeschooling website where you can get like things for your kids. I think it's a homeschooling website. Probably regular teachers can use this too. So you see up there, seasonal, math, science, social studies, languages, arts, special education. Guys, you're not going to believe this. So part of this, it says true crime, Gypsy Rose Blanchard guided notes. Use this remote or printable worksheet to help your students with an S at the end. So this is like teachers in real schools. Help your students guide their notes as they watch a documentary on the case of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother. Students will also be able to complete this worksheet through the listening of, and then it stops. It says more, but you can't see it at that part. Next one down. True crime. Gypsy Rose critical thinking questions. Got to put my glasses on, but you can't see me. For this activity, students will be given 4 different critical thinking reflective questions on the Gypsy Rose Blanchard criminal case. Students must respond to these questions with paragraph responses that cite evidence presented in the blank. So basically what this is, and this is what really, really is just so crazy, is that they're having kids, young minds, watch these highly slanted documentaries. We know them, Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, right? Gypsy's Revenge. Any of them that are out right now, but probably it's Mommy, Dead, and Dearest. That's the most infamous one. Making them watch it, they're going to get influenced by it, right? As we just saw in the beginning of my live, the 16-year-old who wants to off her mother, right? Who wants to do a Gypsy Rose on her mother, right? Why would any teacher want their students to watch the documentary on Gypsy Rose? I mean, it's dark. Even if you're pro Gypsy, I mean, is that like appropriate for kids to watch that in school and to write papers about and to explore their critical thinking skills on this? I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but I just think it's this is why the truth train needs to happen, right? We need for these teachers or whoever's even thinking about using that to say, hey, that documentary isn't right. If you're going to have your kids watch anything, which I don't think is appropriate, but if you got to do it, let's stick to the truth of the case, because the case truly is not about Gypsy being a survivor. It's about Gypsy being a heinous murderer and psychopath. but they're trying to make it like, oh, she's a survivor. Oh, look, she overcame this abuse. Let's let the kids watch it. No, let's not let the kids watch it, right? No, it's not a good idea. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I wouldn't want my kids watching it, okay? All right, guys. So one last thing. As we move along the truth train, right? As we go along with this, I know you guys are dedicated. I know you guys are in the comment section. I just wanted to bring up one more time. I know you guys know this ad nauseum about the Bailey Sarian thing, but truly, that was a truth train movement in her comments, and she listened. That's how the truth train rolls. Okay. And I was talking and kind of like joking a little bit about Dreamer, right? And I said I had something to say about this. And this came to mind, this saying. When I as you know, I worked as a psych nurse for many years. And then I wanted to switch to something really not that psych isn't challenging. It is mentally challenging, obviously. But I was also really interested in critical care nursing. Always was. It was like my two things I really liked. I really liked psych when I was a nursing student and anything to do with critical care. So my first day, I get accepted. You have to like apply, like it's at USC Medical Center. And so it's very competitive. And so I apply, I get accepted to be trained. So yeah, you're an RN, but you got to still go up to the ward and you have to be trained, right, to do it. And you might fail. A lot of people do. You know, it's not for everybody. I almost left on the first day because I walked into the nurses' lounge, which was also the lounge shared with all the medical students from USC, from the residents. And so all the people that were in medical school at USC would share this lounge with the nurses. And up on the bulletin board was this saying: if you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. So what does that mean? You know, Dreamer's saying, take a seat. Well, my saying is the truth train isn't for the faint of heart. If you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. We are serious over here. This is a serious situation. You know what I mean? So you all can be taking a seat over there. But over here on the truth train, yeah, we're big dogs and we're not on the porch, right? We are not on the porch. So I just wanted to share that with you to keep your guys' passion going. And I want to tell you guys I love you all, and I wanted to thank you all. And also, as I'm wrapping down this live, I want to remind everybody to please come back to my channel like tomorrow or later on tonight and share the sizzle reel. It won't be called that, but you guys understand what I'm saying, right? We need to get that out so that other people can see it, because it's just a 15-minute video. Anyone can sit for 15 minutes. So I think that could reach a lot of people who are like, I'm not going to watch an hour-long video, right? You're like, yeah, I guess not. Hey, can you watch a 15-minute video? Most people are going to say, yeah, send it to me. I'll watch a 15-minute video. So please help get that out there. I would really, really appreciate it. And it would mean so much, not just to me, but to Mitch, because he put the time into really editing that, like a beautifully editing it and everything like that. All right, guys. Sorry for all the StreamYard snafus. And for all the new members, welcome. For all of my loyal members that have been here for months and months, thank you. Mitch and I say thank you. And I don't know if we'll probably have another live before Thanksgiving, but just in case we don't, happy Thanksgiving from our family to you. We're all one big family on the truth train, right? And so, but I want to say from my own family, happy Thanksgiving. I might see you before then, but if not, I just want to say it. And to everyone, my mods, thank you so much. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you for allowing me to laugh at myself as I went blank in the middle of this live. It had to happen at one point, right? And so Thank you so much, guys. I will see you soon. I love you all. Have a good evening. Becca Scoops out.